Okay, so on Saturday we discussed about conditional statements, like what are the conditional statements, how we use conditional statements to build complex logic, like we have if, elif. So in other programming language, we'll have if else, uh, if else if and else. So in Python, we'll have if, elif, and else. So that's the only difference. Uh, so this is conditional statements. So using conditional statements will build complex logic. So now we'll move forward with the loops. Okay, so in Python we have two types of loops. One is for loop and while loop. Okay, so why do we need loops? So what's the purpose? So let's say you have 100 users across your platform. So you want to send a message good morning to all of them at once. So what you will do, you have to type manually to each of them good morning one by one. So is this effective? No, this is not effective. It will consume your time. Your uh, efforts are repeated. You have to type that same message continuously across 100 users. No, let's say you want to print good morning when it is morning, and if it is evening, you want to print evening. So in that case, again you have to do double work two times of the day. Okay, so that would be the manual work. So what are loops? Okay, so loops allow you to execute a block of code multiple times. So you write once and you execute it multiple times without writing it manually, the code, the however users you have, you just mention that count, and this loop will run that many times for those many users. You don't have to write 100 lines for 100 users. So that's what the loops. So what problem do loops solve? Okay, so first is it will reduce repetition in the code, and it will allow you to avoid errors, and you know uh, we can make scalable programs, like you can iterate for 5 users to 15,000 iterations also, and it will allow you to do a dynamic behavior. So dynamically you can do some checking, filtering, collecting, so based on these conditions. So you can combine loops along with conditional statements, which we have seen in our last class. So combination of two will give you a very good uh, logic building. Okay, so let's say I will give you a task. So for 100 students, I have to print good morning, hello. I have to print hello. So what I have to do? So manually I'll print for each student hello. So this is the manual type of task. So I'll copy this and paste it 100 times, and for each of the student I'll say student 1, student 2, student 3, something like that. So but let's say I have to do the same thing with just two lines of code. So what I can do, I'll say for I, I in range. So this range is a function which we use in for loop. So I'll say range as 100. So that means we are saying start from 0 and run till 100. So 0 to 99. So index wise, if you see, it will be 0 to 99. But numbers wise, if you see, we're saying run it 100 times. So you can see this, just with one click you are able to run 100 times. Okay, so okay, so when do we need loops? Okay, so when we know that actions are repeated. So one thing is when we have an action that repeats multiple times, as we have seen example of good morning, and we have to iterate data through we have to iterate through a list. For example, you have a list of students who have student name, student 1, student 2, student 3. You have to iterate through that list dynamically without manually accessing that. You can use for loop. So let's say you have a list of 100 students. From those, you want to find out a student name which matches with a certain, like student name is Shad. So you want to find out in the list. So instead of manually searching and going through, you can write one for loop, and you can write if condition inside that for loop. You can say if uh, student name or student of name equal to shad, then print true, something like that. So those kind of scenarios dynamically you can find. So this will reduce your work, and it will allow us to automate repetitive tasks and run code until a condition is met. So we want to run the particular code until a condition, for example, we want to keep trying until password is correct or not, and filter data. So let's say you have huge amounts of data, like 1 lakh rows. If you want to loop through that data to find out certain values or certain filtrations, or you have to get some extract some information which matches your criteria, so in that case you can use loops. So as I have said, we have two types of loop: while loop and for loop. Okay. So uh, so what's the difference between while loop and for loop? So these two are loops, and how do we decide which type of loop we should use, when we should use what type of loop? So are you aware of this, like which loop, when we should use?
No.
Okay, no problem. So as I said, we have two types of loops: for and while loop. Okay. So for loop is used when you know how many times you need to repeat. Okay. So when you know how many times you need to repeat, we need to use for loop. Uh, while loop we'll use when we know, when we don't know how many times we have to repeat. So we'll run until a condition is met. Okay. So let's see a simple analogy. Okay. So you're eating. So while loop is like we are saying we are run the loop until you're full. So this is an analogy. So that means we don't know the criteria when to stop exactly. So we are saying until you're full, just run the loop. But for loops, we'll decide. We'll say I will eat 5 cookies. So that means we'll fix the range here. So in the range function, we'll fix it. So that is the difference. So there is another analogy you can take. For loop, we are, let's say we are driving 10 kilometers to office. So this is a fixed distance. So we know that how much we want to iterate. So whereas for while loop, we are saying we have a condition. We don't have a fixed range. We are saying we have a condition. The condition is drive until the fuels runs out. But the time or number, we don't know the number, how much distance it will be, when it will be. But we have a condition. So condition is what? Drive until the fuel runs out. Okay. So next we can see this while loop repeats a block of code as long as the condition is true. Okay, so let's see an example. I'm saying I'm declaring a count variable equal to 1. So what I'm saying, while count less than or equal to 5, keep printing the count statement. So what it will do, count is 1, count is 2, count is 3, count is 4, count is 5. Okay, so this is how it will print. So it has met this condition 5, it will stop. Okay, so let's see another scenario. So you have we have declared a variable correct password, and we are declared a variable attempts equal to 0. So what we are saying in the while loop, we are describing a condition if attempt less than 3. So we are allowing 3 attempts in the while loop. So we are taking input from the user. So password is equal to input of enter password. So see conditional statement here. If password equal to correct password. So whatever password is, whatever the user will input from here, correct password is the declared variable value that we have. So then we are saying if that is equal to this, then print access granted, else print wrong password. Then we are incrementing our loop plus equal to 1. So we have seen this in operators, right? So this kind of so that means it's an increment plus 1. So let me run this. So I'll enter the password 123. So you can notice automatically the loop is running once again. So it's allowing us to try an attempt, one more attempt. So I'll do 123 once again. So I'll do 123 once again. So all three tries, no, I have tried all three tries. So all of them is incorrect. So now let me run it one more time. 1 second. So when I'm running it one more time, let me run Python 123. So this is the correct password. So I'm giving the correct password here. So if I hit enter, so it says access granted. So now notice one more thing. We have applied a break statement here. So in while loop, what happens is when you don't write a break statement, so what happens? It will try to run the statement continuously. Okay. So if I run this loop now, so you'll notice I have commented the break statement. Now I'll type the proper password Python 123. So it says access granted. So you notice last time when we applied break statement, it came out of loop. But now again, even though it says access granted, now again it's saying enter your password. So these statements like break, continue, pass, these are called loop controlling statements. So when we write a loop, we can control the loop also. Like how does it behave? We can control that loop. So let me do one thing. I'll say, I'll type this Python 123 once again. Uh, Python 123. So it says, now you can see it ran three times. So let me uncomment this. So this is how we can control the while loop. So what happens if we don't? Uh, so there are risks of infinite loops, running into infinite loops in while loop. So we'll see it. We'll see it. And okay, let me scroll down here. If I uh, comment that break statement and run this program, I say 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and you can notice here the icon. That means the program is still running. So that means it's still waiting for my input. So now it's done. So you can notice this icon here. So let's say um, if I don't properly control my loop, so what will happen is we'll have a risk of running this loop infinite times. So it will keep on running even though it's successful. So let you see here, I have commented the attempts increment. Even though I have a condition here, I have commented my attempts increment. So here you can see infinitely it's running. So that's the risk with using while loop. So we have to be very careful while using while loops. So even though I give correct password multiple times, it will keep on running. So see, every time it says access granted, but again it's still running it. So this is called running the loop infinite times. So let me stop this program now. Okay. Now the loop is running. Here you can notice this icon. Loop is running. Now the loop is complete. So the program has stopped. So whenever program runs, it will occupy some memory. So infinite loops will occupy all the memory of the system. So that's why it's very bad. So we have to be careful while writing the loops. So here you have some tasks. You can practice these. So it will be very helpful for you to get hands on the loops. Okay. So next we have for loops. So in for loops, uh, every for loop will use range function. So you can use for loop. Whenever you use for loop, you have to define the range. So what is range? So range will have a start, stop. So we'll define where to from where to start and from where to stop. Okay. So let me run this program. I'm saying for I in range, we are saying start at 1, number 1, and loop till 6. So here you might be getting confused, like, okay, so we have number 6 but it stopped at number 5. Why is it? So in Python, range starts from 0 actually. So when your value of n is 5, then your range starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when your value of n is 6, your range starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, here it will be 4 only. Now you count these numbers. How many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these count of numbers is matching with n is equal to 5, right? So even the count of numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count of numbers is matching with 6. So the range number, whenever you mention value of n, it starts with 0 and ends with whatever the number minus 1, n minus 1. Starts with 0 and ends at n minus 1. So that is how loops work in range. That is how range function works in loops. So now what I will say, instead of 1, I will say start at 0. Now number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now we have 6 numbers, all 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All 6 numbers we got. Okay. So we can loop through a list also. So in Python, one of the very important data type is list. So we can loop through a list. So I have a list called shopping underscore list, which has these items in it. So the list item are they are in strings. So milk, bread, eggs, butter. Okay. So if I want to loop through it, I'll say for item. So here after for you can mention anything. So it will be a variable. So you can mention item in. After in you mention what is that uh, what is that value you want to loop through. So is it a range? Is it a list? What is it? So I want to loop through a list. So if I print it, I'll get 3: buy milk, buy bread, buy eggs, and butter. So all these values I can print. So now I can write my if condition in the loop also. So let's say in my list I have thousands of items and you want to find a certain item. So what you can say, if shopping list of item equal to bread, then only print the item. Oh, so we have to end the if statement here, then put this print statement inside the if.
I think that's semi-colon will not be there after the bread.
What is it?
I think that semicolon should not be there, right? After the bread.
No, it will be there. it will be there. So list indices must be integer or slices, not string. Okay. So what we are saying here is you have to loop through the list. So let me print. Okay. So item of, sorry, instead of shop, I have to give this one item of, and then, so let me first print these items in array. Or I can say just if item equal to bread. So print this. Okay. So here you can see got the bread. So inside the loop, we can again put a condition. So why is it useful? Because in the list we may have hundreds of thousands of items. So it's very time effective if we write conditions inside the loop to find something. So it will we can easily find something with just writing one loop and condition inside the loop to loop through all those huge item of lists. Okay. So similarly, you have some practice tasks. So you can go through this. You have to print the characters of your name, print numbers from 5 to 15, print the sequences of numbers, and print fruits and all this. So once you practice this, you will be able to get hands on these loops. Okay. So we have seen for loop and while loop. So what is the core difference? So we are able to loop through while loop as well as we are able to loop through for loop. So what is the core difference? The core difference is uh, in loops you define the counter. So in for loop counter, you have to automatically update the counter. Okay. And
What is counter?
yeah, sorry. So in for loop, you have to automatically define the counter here. So in the range function, through a list, through range, through strings. Okay. So when it comes to while loop, you
What
have
is
to
counter?
okay, counter. Okay, let's go back. What is counter here? Okay. So this is the counter. So when we are saying while loop and when we are defining count less than or equal to 5, and when we are incrementing the count here. So here we are defining the count. Okay. And here we are incrementing the count. So what happens? The program starts. First it will start with count 1. Okay. It will go to the print statement. Okay, now count equal to count. The first time count's value will be 1 here. It will be 1. So it will check, is 1 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it's less than 5. So it will print the value of count as 1. So you'll get this first output. Okay, so this is counter. So this we will call as counter. Now it will go to third line. Third line, what it will do, count's value will increase to plus 1. Now it will become 2. Now the count value will become 2. So now it will pass 2 here. So it will check the condition. Is 2 less than or equal to 5? Yes. Now it will print the value of count is 2. It will print it here. Now it will go to third line. This is called counter. So we are incrementing here. So you can, in short form, you can say this is a counter. Now it will become plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So likewise, it will keep on incrementing. So in while loop, you notice we just gave the condition. And in for loop, we actually define the range. So in for loop, you can see we are saying 0 to 6. So we define the range. So there is no condition here yet. So condition will define it separately in for loops. You can see we define the condition inside the for loop. But when in while loops, manually you need to define that. Okay. So you need to define manually by logic in the while loop. But when it comes to for loops, how you iterate? Either through range function one, or through list, or through string. So let's do one. We have seen with range function, we have seen with list function. Let's see one program with string in for loops. So let's see print characters of your name. Okay. So I'll say uh, I'll define a variable name equal to Shad for I in. So this value after I, you can give any name. So this is just a variable. It's a placeholder. You can give anything. You can give I, you can give name, anything. For I in. So this, you do you remember in where did we get? We learned in operators. Remember that, right? So we saw it in operators. In range. So this is the range function. So in range, we'll say name. So if we say name, will will it print? What do you say? Will it print the values? No, because it's not able to recognize this. So range function takes integer. You can see it says str object. So this is a string object. Range function, what does it take? It takes integer. So I need to give integer. So my name is in string. How can I give integer value? So what I can say, I can say length function. I can use length function around my name. So this will convert my name into string. So what length function will do, it will count number of characters of my string, and then it will provide a number in integer form to range function. Now it will print my name here. So now you can see, okay, so it's printing 1 2 3. So now I have to print uh, the characters of my name. So what I'll say, um, I of 0. Oh, sorry, I of 0. Let's try this. No, it's okay. So it's already range. So print name. Okay. So you see, we are printing the name. So now there is a technique to just print each of these characters of the name. So we can print all of them separately. So how we can do that? I can say name equal to, there are different ways. So I can separate each of these characters, and then I comment it out. So I can say name of I. So it will print my character separately. So even with string you can do it. So to perform this task, take the characters of your name and print it in this manner. So I guess you have understood this. So for loop, we'll use range function, and range function takes integer values. So instead of range function, we can use strings. We can loop through strings also. So you can do this practice. So for I in range, or for I in name, for I in name. So print I. Will this work? Yes, it works. So you can do in this way also. So this is the list. So this is the list. So we can loop through list directly also. So instead of writing this range, what I can say, I'll comment it out. Okay, I'll say for I in name. Okay, so now we are referring this. Okay, we are referring list, not string. Okay, so we already have it, but I have to write it in different manner. Print name. So let's see how does it behave for list. See, it's printing separate lists in each row. So now let's say I want to print just the characters of my name. So what I can say, name of I. So that means name of I is name of zero value. So we'll see these details in while learning list, but just notice it. List indices must be integer, not string. Okay, so it's string, I think. Okay, okay. So we need to provide integer. So we were seeing, so when, what is the difference between a while loop and for loop, when we should use each one of them, and what is the way of using each loop. So for while loop, we'll define a condition and we'll use counter and increment it. And for loop also, we'll define range functions. We can use three things. One is range function, and we'll define what is the range inside that function. And second thing is we can directly use strings, and we can use list. Okay, so to iterate the loop in for loops. For while loops, we'll manually define the logic. Okay, so now we have already see what is the counter. So we'll increment the loop by +1 or +2, whatever is the logic we are defining in the loop. So automatically, so if we don't, so the difference in while loop and do while, for loop is, in while loop you have to define the counter. Otherwise, the loop will enter in infinite loops. So it will go into infinite loop. For loop, automatically it will take the counter as +1. So here you can see in our for loops program, we never define our counter. So let me comment out my condition. So let's say we want to print shopping cart list, and I run this program. Here you can see we never defined our counter here. So by default, it will automatically consider it as +1. So when in the for loop, but in the while loop, we have to define the counter +1. So what happens if I don't define the counter in while loop? It will go into infinite loops. So the program will keep on running. Here you can see the icon. that says program is running. So it will keep on running. So we said the password retries is allowed 3 times only, but even after 3 times I tried it, it's not breaking at all, it's continuously it's running. So this is the difference between for loop and while loop. In for loop, you have to use range function, and in that range function, if you use a number, automatically for loop will increment. But in while loop, you have to specifically increment the counter by writing this statement: attempts plus equal to 1 or plus 2, whatever it may be, you have to write this thing. So that is the core difference. So next, what is the difference? Mm, so when to use for loop, when you know how many number of iterations you want to do, and for while loop, you don't know how many iterations. You have the condition, but you don't know how many iterations, so you use while loop. And risk of infinite loop, very low in for loops, but in while loops it's a very high, the risk of infinite loops. Okay, so far we have seen for loop and while loop. So if you have any questions, Arif, you can come up so that I can answer you.
Yeah, in while loop also we have given the conditions, right?
Yes.
In
Yeah.
that password, in that password example.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So see, here we have given less than three while attempts.
Yeah.
So
That is right.
why we have to like mention break again? Like it can stop at three, right?
Okay. So by default, while loop is designed in such a way that it will keep on running until a condition is met. So here the condition is very naive, you can say. We are saying attempts less than 3. Okay. So we are saying just saying less than 3 attempts you make, and if password matches whatever you enter the password, if it is correct, then print access granted. But while loop, we have to control also. So one more uh, thing in while loop that we have to do is we have the ability to control. So we have to break that loop. So the by nature while loop keeps on running 3 times even if condition is met. So let me run this program. So even my condition mats. Okay, let me stop this first. It's running infinitely. Okay, so the practice is when I say Python 123, this is the correct password. So I'm entering the correct password. So access granted, it should stop. Okay. So why it's stopping? Because we are controlling the while loop. That's why it's stopping. So let me comment out the break statement now. Okay. So now we are not controlling the while loop if password is correct. Okay. So what happens is, just notice. So I'm giving the correct password. It says access granted. Then again it started running because we are not breaking the loop if condition is met. So that is the default behavior of while loop. So even though uh, we have successfully reached this condition, our password is correct, but default behavior is it says it should run 3 times with increment of 1. So this is its default behavior. That's why it's no it's prompting us to enter one more time. Then and one more time it will prompt us, then it will stop. See, now we are not getting the input box. So 3 times it running. So this is the default behavior of while loop. So we can control this default behavior by using this control statements. So these are called control statements. So we are saying, even though I am asking you while loop to run 3 times, but if my condition, which is correct password if the user enters, just break it there. Don't run three times. So that's what the behavior. Okay. So is this clear or you have any more questions?
Clear.
Clear? Okay. Okay. So just now we have used the break statement inside a while loop. So these are called control statements. So controlling the loop. So how to control the loop? Using there are three statements: break, continue, and pass. Using these three statements, we can control the loop. Okay. So what does break do? It exits the loop when a specific condition is met. So let's say I'm running for number in range 1 to 10. So what I'm saying, if number equal to 5, break my loop. So if my condition is met, I'm saying don't run till range 10. Immediately break the loop. So by default nature of loops is it will try to run continuously until this number, the whatever the n number of times we have mentioned it to run. But we can also control it by mentioning the control statements, loop control statements. So I'll run this, and okay, I think I have to restart because previous program is running infinitely. Okay, so I run this control for loop, and I use this control statement. What I said, if if you reach at number 5, break it and exit out of the loop. That's it. So that is the use of break statement. One more example of break. So we have items in a list: pen, pencil, eraser, marker. So what I'm saying, for item in items, if item is equal to eraser, print found eraser. So then only there itself break the program, come out of the loop. So even though I have one, two, three, four items, what I said, if you found eraser, just come out of the loop. So it checked pencil, pen, and it found eraser. It came out of the loop. So you can practice some of these tasks to practice the break statement and how to control the loops. So one more control statement, loop controlling statement we have is continue. So what does continue does is skips the current iteration and moves to the next one. So it will skip one iteration. So let's say we are iterating 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are saying if my condition is equal to 3, if you come at 3, skip that number 3 and continue with 4, 5. So that's what we are saying. So let's see an example. So what I'm saying, I have a list called milk, eggs, out of stock, and butter. So one of the item is out of stock. So what I'm saying, whenever you see these kind of text in a list, just skip it. Don't uh, count it and print other items. So let's say I have a website in that I have all the products. One of the product is out of stock, so I don't want to showcase that. So in those case, let's say what I'm saying, if you reach that kind of, if you see that kind of list, ignore it and continue with butter. So you notice the difference between break and continue statement. Break is immediately exiting out of the loop when condition is met, but when it comes to continue, it's skipping that particular condition when it is met and continuing with the next iteration. Okay, it continued with butter, you can see. So that is the difference between break and continue. Okay, so for number in range 1 to 6, if number equal to 3, skip number 3 and continue. So you can see here, so it will skip number 3 and continue from 4, 5. Okay, so you have some practice tasks. So you can complete this, so that will enhance your skills with control statements, looping control statements like continue. So next statement we have is pass statement. So pass statement is just a placeholder. Okay. So let's say, so imagine you're reading each letter of word Python aloud, and when you encounter letter H, you choose not to say anything. You just silently skip it without making a noise, raising an error. You still continue reading the remaining letters normally. Okay. So let's see here in the example. So I'm printing for letter in Python. If letter equal to H, pass. So that means I'm just ignoring that letter in the loop. I'm just saying pass. So that means, uh, so the pass statement, what it will do is it will not uh, error. It will not error out whenever, no, if we write it. So we can avoid certain errors by using pass statement. So it will just skip it. You can use it to
In
skip.
for loops, it will like print in vertically only and not
Sorry.
horizontal. In for loop,
Yeah.
when we execute the program, so it will print in vertical direction only and not horizontal.
Yeah, yeah. By default, it will print in vertical only. So we can make it horizontal also. Or we have this one command called end equal to. If you give this, we can print it in horizontal. So
Okay.
we can use this in the print statement. But by default nature, you're right. So it will print in vertical. All the letters it will print in vertical. Okay. So now let's see one more example of pass statement. Let's say you have a list which has tasks, multiple tasks, task 1, task 2, task whip, and task 3. So whip is like work in progress. So what I'm saying, I want to display all the tasks except if a task is in work in progress. So I'll just check all the tasks. I'll use for loop for task. So task is my variable, in is my operator, so that we have seen in operator class. Tasks, this is my list. So I'm checking for task in tasks list. So I'm checking in this list. Okay. So what I'm saying, if task, if my variable, if variable task equal to whip, then just ignore it, skip it, then move to next statement. So what it will do, it will print task 1, task 2, task 3. It will ignore printing this list item.
So this continue and pass are same, right?
Continue and pass, they are by
Both
nature
are
are
skippable.
same. Yeah, both are same, but there is a difference. There is a difference. Continue, it will uh, ignore when you reach a number, but there is a difference in their behaviors. So let's see how it differs. So instead of continue, yeah, both of them are same. So see, you'll see the same results. So both of them are same, but pass has certain characteristics that the this will avoid errors. So when you use pass, it will avoid raising errors in the program, but that is not the case with continue statement.
Okay, so if we want to skip anything, pass will be more reliable than continue.
Right, right. Right. Okay. So next we'll move to nested loops. Okay. So a lot of times we have to use loops inside a loop. So that is called nested loop. Okay. So there will be outer loop and inner loop. So combination of those two, when we write it, we can perform certain tasks. So this is useful for printing table like structures, for tables, for matrices, for grids, for printing patterns. For all these kind of operations, we have to use nested loops. Okay. So let's say you have a task, you want to print this pattern. So how do you do it? So I have to write nested loop. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay. So I have what I have to do for I in range. So how many I have? One, two, three, four, five. So for I in range five. For j in range five. So j is, so I is your rows. One, two, three, four, five. I is your number of rows. J is your number of columns. J is your number of columns. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. So
So
what
we
I'm
have to
saying?
type
Hmm.
4 only, right? Because it will count 0, the number in range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what? N, the value of n will be 5, but loop will count from 0. 0 is one number. 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will count till 4 only. So combination of these will become total. How many numbers is 5? So n will be 5. So that is how it will go. So this bit confusing, and you will come to know. See, we are counting from 0. This is one number. 0, 1, 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers. So our total value of n will be 5. You understood?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll say print star. So by default, when we print, so if I print this, it will print in this manner. So all, see how many? So you count 5, 5 into 5, 5 5 are 25, right? So all 25 stars. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yes.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Or let me do one thing. Let me print the numbers beside it. Or I can do one thing. I'll copy this and okay, put it here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So you'll see all 25 numbers are printed, but we don't want in this pattern. So now how do we print in this particular pattern? So now we have, you can see we have one row, then we have a new line. Okay, so we have a row printed all in one row, like 5 stars printed in one row. So what I have to do, I have to use this end equal to, I have to use this. So the advantage of this is, so all 5 values it will print in one line. Then again I have to go to the outer loop, I loop, and print new line. So if I say just print, it will print a new line if I don't write it anything. Now if I just execute it, here you can see this pattern is printed. See, so if you practice these patterns, your looping will become very good. So you will become master at for loops. And for loops are very important. Even if you consider, if you are attending any interviews, lot of questions will be asked around this. So there are a lot of scenarios I will share, so you can practice. So these kind of patterns will improve your looping as well as nested looping also. So now so let's say if I want to dynamically do this, I'll declare it here in value of n is equal to 5. So instead of writing the number 5, I'll say n. Yeah. So in the outer loop there is 5, inner loop also 5, and then for every row, after every row we are printing as new line. So that is the, this is the print that will print a new line. So this is the print that will print new row of stars. Okay, so let me delete this. Okay, so we have one more type of pattern. So what is this pattern? So instead of printing everything in a rectangle, we have this triangle type of pattern. So in this, so here now you can notice more than programming, your logic building is coming into picture. So if you practice this pattern building, so how you build logic using for loops, that kind of practice you can perform it here. So let me make some space here. Okay, so what I will say, for first I will declare n, value of n is n equal to 5. So this is little confusing. So value of n will be 5, but the range will start from 0 and end it n minus 1. So I'll mention here, a range starts from 0 and end at n minus 1 by default, even though we don't mention. So that will be 4. So that will be 5 numbers. At the end, it will be 5 numbers because it's starting from 0. 3, 4, sorry, 3, 4. Yeah, till 4 only. So to print this pattern, I'll say for I in range of n. Okay. For j in range, here you can see I is just a variable. We are declaring these variables. You can have anything, you can write anything. And in is an operator, so we have seen in operators class. Range is a function, so it takes integer values. So here what is the integer value? N equal to 5. So we are saying 5. So let me say n, and I'll print stars. Okay, stars, and I'll say end equal to double quote. So that will print the stars in horizontally. Then again I have to give a empty I have to print a new line for at each row. So here you can see this print is in the outer loop. So if I do this, it's in inner loop. So if I directly print below I, this is in outer loop. So now if I print it, what do I get? I get the same thing like I got previously. Now this is not we are looking for. We are looking for a triangle. So how do I do that? I change the logic here. So here you can see, initially the value of I will be 1. So it's incrementing by 1. Each value is incrementing by 1. So what I will say, I'll declare the inner loop as I plus 1. So now just by changing my logic, I was able to change my pattern. So that's why for loops, along with, if you are trying these kind of problems, it will improve your loopings as well as it will improve your logic building. Similarly, same question we have. Instead of stars, we need to print 1 2 3 4. Okay, same, like it's incrementing by 1 at every step. The second value, the the value is incrementing by 1. Digits are increment. So here we have 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit, 4 digit, 5 digit. So here, to print those numbers, what I did in the previous program, I printed stars. Now I print the numbers. So what will J hold? J will hold these numbers. So this will hold the numbers. So let me print this. So it will hold the numbers. So you can also check what J will hold. So you can just print the value of J. Instead of doing J plus 1, you can just do J. So it will take the value as 0 from here. Okay. It will pass this value 0 here. 0 plus 1 is 1. So now our range is 1. So when the range is 1, when it's from which number it starts? 0. So since it starts from 0, the J value is 0. So now because J value is 0, it will print 0. Okay, so let me explain this at each step. So I think that will make it more clear. Okay, so uh, okay. So first time I equal to I value is 0. So what happens is, so here the value of I becomes 0. So it checks, is 0 in our range in 5, 0 to 5? Yes, it's in our range. Okay, go to below step. Okay, so 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, it will become 1. Okay, now start with 0. So when the range is 1, or at j the value is become n, the value will become n is equal to 1, and it will start from 0. So j value will become 0 here. So here I value will be 0. Here I equal to 0. Now will be 0. So since it prints j here 0. Now automatically for loop increments, right? So it will go to number 1. So I value will become 1. So now I is 1. Now here what formula we had? I plus 1. So I plus 1. Mean 1 plus 1 is 2. Now it will j loop will run two times. Why? Because now at j place we have n is equal to 2. So now j will run two times because now j will have two digits, 0 and 1. So now j value will become 0 and 1. It will print two times j. Now again it will go to I. Now the automatically the value of I will increment to 2. Now I value will become 2, and at I place n is 5. Okay. So now it will go here. What is the formula here? I plus 1, right? So I plus 1 will that means 2 plus 1. So here our n becomes 3. Okay. Now j have to run 3 times, 0 for 0, for 1, for 2. Now it will print 0, 1, 2 because we are printing j. Now it will go back to I loop. I will become 3. Okay, so I. Now what is our formula? I plus 1. So instead of I, will replace 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So now n value become 4. Now j will have 0, 1, 2, 3. So j will run 4 times. J loop will run 0 times. For 0 value, it will run 1 time, 1 value, 2 value, 3 value. So all those values it will print here. So again, I value will increment. So this is the last, because when n is 5, our I values will be 0 to 4 only. So now this is the last outer loop. So when j value is I value is 4, I is equal to 4, and it will go down below. So what is our formula here? I plus 1. So instead of I, will place 4. We replace it. 4 plus 1 is 5. So now my n has become 5. Now my j has to run 5 times, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how all this pattern got printed. But do we want this? We don't want this. What is our original pattern? We want 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I have to do? By looking at this, I can say I have to add a plus here, plus 1. So when I do a plus 1, I will notice that my original pattern, whatever is required, it will print. So I have to comment this before running this program. So I have to comment these values. Okay, let me run this. Oh, something. Um, okay. So I plus 1. So here the formula is I plus 1. So let me run this now again. So what
No, that's
is
that for four instead of four, it will be I know.
sorry, sorry, yeah, this is the form. Okay, right, right. So now it had printed whatever the pattern that required for me. So that is how outer and inner loop in combination they will run. So this is very important for logic building, even in asked in interview questions also for Python.
Okay, but in this problem, we have not defined the n value, right? So it is taking from the above example, right? The n value. So
No,
it
no,
is
actually we
printing 5.
defined it. Yeah, it's taking from the above cell.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. N value is compulsory, defining n values. Yeah, it took from the above example, above cell, from this program. Okay. So similarly, I have put a different patterns. So let's look at reverse triangle pattern. So here you can see we are our value of our value is decrementing by 1. You can see it's decreasing by 1. So our inner loop logic will change here now. So I'll say n minus 1. So if I say n minus 1, I'll be able to print this pattern. So similarly with others here. Okay. Yeah. So this is a complex problem. You can try it. So This, you have to solve this, you need three loops. Under I loop, you need to use two j loops. So by using that you can solve. So you can try out all this. I request you to do hands on, then only you will be able to remember and recall, and take notes, and just learn it in such a way that you should remember, you know, uh, forever after this. Because I'm seeing lot of demand for Python and lot of interview questions being asked around it. So these are basics. If we know these basics well, uh, the remaining topics like pandas and others libraries, it will become easier for you, because there will have a chance of using loops a lot. So you practice these problems well. This, if you make these foundations perfectly, hands on, then it will be very easier for you in the advanced topics. So that's what I
Like,
can say.
are we going to have this practicals, which is done in like companies and all, like in data sets and all?
Yeah. So this is how it is related. So you can
Yeah.
see uh, these patterns, if you solve it in the real world, if you want to print certain columns, you have to go and search, go in the Google. So that is for sure. But in interviews, if we don't remember, if we don't do hands on, they'll not consider it. So that's the problem. So interviews, if you are attending, you have to be very much hands on. So if you practice these tasks, you will become very good at, logic building, Python programs writing. Then you will be able to solve in the interview. So I think at the end we want two things: we want to work, as well as we want to clear interviews. So for clearing interviews, we have to be very good at hands on. And on the job, when you go, nobody writes hands on by remembering. They refer Google and chat gpt and all, because that is very convenient, very easy. But in interviews it doesn't work. So we have to remember and recall. So those things will happen, and we can memorize only if we do hands on. So we can recall easily.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions you have?
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So I will upload this workbook in the drive, so you go through it, and I request you to solve these tasks.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So yesterday we have seen loops. What are the different types of loops in Python? So that are while loop and for loop. And we have also seen when to use which kind of loop. For example, while loop we use when we have a condition and we don't know how many times we have to run the loop. And while loop must be, we should have a counter with while loop. Otherwise, it will go into infinite loop. So when it comes to for loop, it automatically updates the counter, and we need to mention how many times we need to iterate the for loop. So today we'll see with for loops, like what are the three kinds of data types we can iterate. So we have range data type, so which we already seen yesterday, list and string. So these are the three data types that you can iterate in for loops. So I'll just go through this small topic, then we'll move on to functions. Okay. So range is also a data type. So range takes three values. Okay. So range will have three values: start, stop, and step. So here you can see start, stop, and step. So I'll show you. So if you do not mention anything in the sorry, if you mention just one value in the range function, so it will consider as how many times you should iterate this for loop. So it says no, you can iterate this for loop 5 times. And in the range function, whenever you give any value, it starts from zero. 0 to 4 is 5 values. So it says at what step you should stop. If you just give one value, it says you should stop at 5. After iterating 5 times, you should stop. So that is the meaning. If you just give one value in the range function, and if you give two values, that means you are declaring at what step you should start and at what step you should stop the loop. So for example, let me give 0 here. If I give 0, so what do you think numbers will be printed? 0 to 5. So n minus 1. So this value will be considered n. So n minus 1 will be 0 to 5. Okay. So let's say I'm saying start at 1. So for I in range 1 to 6. So what I'm saying, start at 1. Start from here now. So it will skip this 0, 1 to 5. So whatever start value you give, by default, stop is decided by this number. So I can give 2 and it will start the loop from here, 2 to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now you can give all three values. So even if you do not declare, the default is if you do not declare three values. So let's say you have these three values here. So you are declaring here what is the start, what is the stop, and what is the step. Okay. So I'm declaring here. So I'm saying start at 1 and take 2 steps. So after 1, what will be the 2 steps? So 2, 3. So 2 step would be third 3 number. Then again 2 steps, 5. Again 2 steps, 7. Again 2 steps, 9. And where should I stop? N minus 1. So value of 10 is 9. So at 9 I should stop. So now we are giving start, stop, and step. So if you do not give anything, so default behavior, it will consider everything as 1. So even it will consider start as 0. So defaultly it will consider start as 0 and step as 1. So this is the default. So these two are default values it will consider if you do not give anything, if you just give stop number. Okay. Okay. So in for loops, you can loop in reverse order also. So I can give step in minus. So for example, what I'm saying, so this is my stop number, this is my start number, and this is my step. So when you are giving in reverse, this is how you have to declare. So this is our stop number. And you notice when we are reversing the loop, it will not start from 0, it will start from 1. Okay, so you have to remember these. So when you are starting a function in positive integers from at the beginning of the range function 0 to 5, it will take 0 to 4. But if you are doing a reverse loop, it will do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. So this we have already seen loop with range and conditions. So this, by default, you do not mention anything. And if you want to find out odd or even numbers, you can declare a conditions inside the loop. Okay. So um, let's see how to loop through lists. So why I am repeating this? Because these are very important concepts, and these are used heavily in programming. Whenever you are building something, you're writing something, these are heavily used in real life projects. So we loop through range function. Now we are looping through a list. So this is a list called fruits. Now this is my for loop. This is my variable. So you can write anything here. I can write even I, and this is my member operator, and this is my list. So I'm looping through the list. So apple, banana, and cherry. So this is how we can loop through the list. And we are here, you can see here we are directly looping through the list. Now let's say I want to loop through a list using a range function. How do we do that? I can define a range function here, and inside the range function I will declare length function, length of fruits. So this will convert my range function to integer. Okay, so now here you can notice we are printing two things, index as well as value. So every uh, whenever you are working with for loops, it will have two things. One is index, and one is what is the value that you are looping through. So the value apple has 0 index, and the value banana has 1 index, and the value cherry is 2 index. So likewise, any value that you loop from positive, like from 0 to large number, it will start with 0 and it will increment by default with 1. So here you can see index 0 has apple, 1 has banana, 2 has cherry. So
Yeah, I
these,
didn't understand that syntax of print
which
f
one?
index.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So f is a doc string. So it's a type of string which you can use to print values with a specific format. For example, let me print this without f string. So you'll understand. So I'll not be able to print in the format that I want. Okay, so let me keep it as is. Okay, so I have to comment this out. Here you can see. So we want to include variable outputs inside the print function with the specific format that we want. We can use f. So this is called doc string. So it is useful for comments inside our programming. If we want to put some comments, we can use it. So with this, what will happen is, here you can see I can print index function, and this is the variable. So I take this I, and if I give curly braces, that means I want to print the value of I in this loop. So this is the fruits. Fruits is my list of I. So you can see here. So let me first print this fruits of I. So first time I value will be 0, right? So this index 0 will go here. Okay, though the first apple will be printed, then next loop the value of 1 will go at the place of I. Now it will pick up banana, then it will print banana. In the next loop, when it will increment by 1, the value of 2 will go here, and it will print this cherry. So if I run this, just this statement, and if I print it, you can notice that. Okay, so it's accessing, we are accessing this value at 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and just printing it. Now what I am doing is I am taking this value, and I want to use it inside the print function, and I want to print along with the other strings. So generally, if we do not do this, how I would write this? I have to write separately. So I have to use print, then I have to give double quotes, and I have to write index, then I have to give I, then I have to give comma, then I have to give has, then give another comma, then print this value. Okay, so generally this is how we write. Okay, so but inside just one string, if I want to write everything, my static text as well as the values that are being generated from the loop, if I have, if I want to do both of those, I can use this doc string f along with the quotes around it. But the format of the variable accessing will change a little bit. So instead of just saying I, this is how you would rewrite this. So what I'm saying, I'm just giving double quotes, and inside these double quotes I'm writing everything. Index. Now I want to print I, so it will not print I, because inside the print statement it will consider just static text, it will not consider variable printing. So you can see I. So what I have to do, I have to give curly braces around it. So then it will consider, okay, I'm going to access this index. So it will say, okay, I'm trying to access this index. So for that I have to give f, then it will print the value instead of just static text. So similarly, I can rewrite this completely, then we are able to print it. So it's just a way of printing along with the format that we require. We can use doc strings. So these are very helpful if you want to generate SQL statements in your print, then you can use this. And if you want to write, if you want to generate a query along with the format that you need, we write in this way. So that it maintains that no, what you can syntax that we want SQL to understand. So this is one of the use case with fstring. Okay, so we'll move forward. So now again, um, so we can use list, and using enumerate function we can loop through a list. So you can see here I'm saying for index comma fruit. So these two are variables. Index is my variable and fruit is also variable. So in my list, if I want to access both index as well as the value, so this is how I can do it using enumerate function. So the difference here and here is I'm using I and fruits. I'm writing length of fruits. So you can see here so here I'm not counting the length of my list. I'm just giving fruits. So if I just want to print both index as well as the values inside it using lists directly without counting the length of the list, I can use enumerate function. So this function will count as well as bring the index, and we can access. So if we say print of index, it will print 0 1 2. Then it will, when you are saying fruit, it will print the value of that index: 0 index apple, 1 index banana, 2 index cherry. So this is how it will print. So I'm
But we don't
showing you
have
different.
a
Yeah,
variable of
good.
named as fruit, right?
What is it? Can you repeat again?
We don't have any value of fruit, right? So why we are mentioning fruit?
Okay, so enumerate function, when you use, right, so it can take two variables, so it will generate two values. So
Okay.
one is index and one is fruit. So I'm declaring fruit and index so that I want to print. So I can use, so let's see. So if I just use, so let me just print fruits here. Okay, so consider this is our program. Okay, indentation is correct. Quotes. Okay, so you can see this enumerate function, it generated the value in a tuple along with the index. So now what I am doing is I am taking this value in another variable called index. So I'm taking this value here, this value here in index, and this index, whatever the actual value that that index contains is fruit. That is apple at 0, 1 at banana, 2 cherry. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Or okay, is it clear, right?
Can you run this one?
Now you can see here. So when we are storing those two values separately inside the index and fruit, and we are just printing the fruit, that's why you can see only the fruit values. Now if you print both both index and its value will be printed. So this enumerate function, it will hold two values. One is index, at what position this apple value exists, and what is the actual value in the list. So that's why we are using two variables here to capture those.
Index, I understood it about index, but we have a variable named as fruits, right? So
Yeah, variable
we
is
can, yeah.
variable is fruits. That we are variable is fruits, and that holds lists. But here this is
What
not
is the
fruits,
use of
this
that
is
fruit?
fruit.
Yeah.
No
So
s here. So
getting
this is
the what is
different, this
the
is
use of
different.
that?
Sorry, can you come up again once again?
Yeah,
What
fruits
is
I
the
understood, but like what is like how it's being implemented that fruit index I understood, but the
okay?
fruit we have no value of fruit, right? We have fruits, and I'm not getting like how fruit is working in this.
Okay, let's forget
Yeah.
about fruit. Consider I and value. Okay, so I'm saying this is I, this is value. So whatever this function enumerate is generating from by reading. So enumerate function is reading this list. So whenever it's reading the lists, it's reading in this form at each line 0 and apple. So what we are saying, okay, take this 0 value, put it in I variable, take this apple and put it in value. So now to print this, I say I and the value of I. I get it. Is it clear now?
Yeah. Okay.
Clear, right? Okay. 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 So I think this one is causing confusion. So I'll say value. Okay. Or I can say I. And that's it. You can take any name. So since Python takes different values. So to avoid confusion, let's go with I. So this is my list. And what I'm saying, I'm looping through my list for I in fruits. So what it will do, let's print our I before going into this. Okay, so this is how it will print, just the values. That's it. Okay. Now what
And
I'm
if we
saying
make
is,
index, then it will also print index value, right?
yeah, yeah. So if we use enumerate function or if we use fruits of I, where is it?
Okay.
Here you can see. Yeah.
So without
Yeah.
enumerate also,
Uh,
if we
no,
make
no,
an
no. So
index.
for that we need to use length function. Without,
Okay.
yeah. So if you want to print both, you need to use length because it will not generate value. So this here you can see it's not generating index. So to access that value, I need index also. So to get index, I need to convert these fruits into integer. So that would be length function, and I can use range. So I have to go back to this again. So I have to if I have to print both index and fruits. But now here you can see we are not worried about index. We are just worried about values. So I'm printing three values. Now my condition is if A in fruits. So if anything that contains A, print that value. Sorry, this is I variable. So we have changed it. Okay. So it says apple contains A, banana contains A. So whatever contains A, it printed that values. So these are different ways of using for loops with range data type and the list data type and string data type. Okay. So yesterday you asked about like what is the real use case, right? In for loops, mostly used with uh, this working with SQL in Python. Like if you have to write any data pipeline that you are working with SQL, you have to write, insert into database using for loops. This is the way that is used. So in the nested loops.
Am I audible?
Yeah. So I was
Hello.
saying that. Can you hear me, Arif?
Yeah, actually, I got dropped off. There is
Okay,
a
okay.
power cut at my place.
Okay, so I
So,
was saying that these scenarios are used in real world programming. For example, if you are building a data pipeline in data engineering, data science, for loops
okay.
are used a lot because we have to loop through data a lot of the times. Okay, so for loops are used a lot. So this is one sample example. So we have a matrix, so rows and columns. So if you want to loop through a matrix, so this is a sample. So same thing you can do. You can loop through a table. You can define a table and you can loop through. Okay. So now we have seen range function. We have seen lists. Now we'll go with the strings. So another use case with for loops is we can loop through lists. So I have a we can loop through strings. So I have a string called Python. So I want to loop through this uh, string. So how do I do that? I'll define for. I can mention my variable. So I have mentioned character as my variable. And what is that string? Text is the string. So I'm looping through this. I'm printing it. And so this, so here it's a different way of accessing. So here we are not concerned about index. So whenever we are directly accessing the list of string, will not get the index. But let's see here. We want to loop through index as well as print value of index and what is the value at that index. So in that case, we have to go with the range function and define what is the length of that string. Then only we will be able to print both index as well as its value. Here you can see character at index 0 is p. So this is how we will be able to access if we define the length of that string and use that length in the range function. Okay. So let's move to next. So count vowels in a string. So I have a text called Python. and I'm defining my count is equal to 0. Okay, I'm declaring a variable equal to 0. So this is my output. I will store my final output in this variable. So that's why I'm declaring it here. So now I use for loop. So I'm defining a variable for ch in text. So I'm looping through this text. If ch dot lower, so I'm defining lower function in AEIOU. So if this function is, if this text falls under any of these vowels, then count it. Otherwise, exit. So it says we have one vowel. So now you can add, now it will count. We have three vowels. One, two, three. Okay.
So what is this CH? Okay, that's just variable,
Just a
right?
variable. Yeah, variable. So you can say I. That's it. You can say I. You can write anything. Can, so since this is a character and it makes sense
Why
also.
we are doing lower? Why we
Yeah.
are
So why
typing
we are
lower?
doing lower is because I have, as we have seen in previous classes also. Let's say I give ABC, EE. Now it will not even recognize the character, because here we our uh, vowels is in lowercase. So I need to compare lowercase with lowercase to get the result. So now if I do not define this lowercase, so what will happen? It will count vowel as 0, because it's not able to recognize the uppercase. It's not able to compare uppercase with lowercase. So to standardize, what we are saying is lower. So that means it will first convert our uppercase to lowercase, then compare it. So it will be a proper apple to apple comparison, right? So now it will compare. So in the same way, if you are, if you do not want to do that, you can write, there are multiple ways you can define caps here, AEIOU, and you can define upper here. Even if you type lowercase here, ABEE, then it will be able to compare. So there are different ways. So our only goal is to get the required result, so that our logic is foolproof. So when I added upper, it's able to compare it properly. So you can do either ways also. Okay. So this was very important concepts in loops. So that's why I repeated it today. So let's see how we can combine range, list, and strings together. So I have a list. Okay, if for I in range. So here you can see I can combine name at 0 index is Alice, and length of that, then what is the length of that characters? 5. So we are counting the length of the characters also. So we can combine and do a lot of things. Nested loops of strings. Here I have a list, and I'm looping it AL. So I'm just converting it to vertically B0CH. So modify list
But
items
it has
using
separated.
range.
Uh, if can you just go through that example just now?
Okay.
What you have shown? Yeah. So it has separated everything, right? A L B O.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So it
here you
will
can
it
see.
clear?
mm,
So we can separate words also, right? If we have one word, so we can separate them letter by letter.
yes. Yeah. So to break down, we can just print name first, and you can see what's it's actually printing. It's printing ALBOCH. So what we are doing, we are writing again one more loop to separate that. So now we are considering every letter as individual character and printing it vertically.
Okay. And what about the index? Like each letter will have different index, or AI will have one index?
Okay, so when you consider list, it will have one index here. Okay, so at the
Okay.
top level, so there will be two things. So this is top level, this is list, right? So this will have zero index, and this will have one index, this will have two index. But when this value goes inside the loop, this value goes inside the loop, right? So inside this ch loop, now this will, it will consider two values. Now inside the loop, it will have two indexes, 0 and 1. A will have
Yeah.
0 index, and L will have 1 index. Outside the loop, it will be 0, but this value as a whole going inside the loop. And again, we are considering A as 0 index inside the loop, L as 1 index inside the loop. So this is how it will treat.
Okay. So, okay. But so for every word we have to write for loop. Like if we want to separate them, so here are three words like A L B O C H. So we'll be writing three loops, right? Nested loops to separate all of them.
For every word. So we are doing it for every word itself, right? So you can see this is a separate word, this is separate word, this is separate word. So only thing is it's just two characters, but it's a word. So you can just add something
Yeah. Okay. So
small.
if we only want to print O,
Mm-hmm.
so we will again, like, what we will do here. We
So
will
if you
use
want to
nested loop,
print
right?
O, you will write a condition. Either there are two ways. Either you can write it through a condition, or you can define. Okay, so where is O in my list? So better is to access is through condition. Now our list is small. We are able to discover. Okay, in my list at one index I have BO. Okay, so let's me extract BO value. So what I will say, so I have to rewrite it in different way now. So range of length of mm, uh, names. So what I will say, so since I know my list and it is small, so I can say name of one. So this will bring my second value in the list only. Okay, so let me comment out. So okay, I need to comment this out also. Indentation. So what's the error? Int objects is not scriptable. Is it correct? Okay, okay. So it's saying this object is integer. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm directly accessing this value since I know I have O here. Now I will write another for loop. Okay, for ch in name. Now inside the for loop,
Why they printed three times BO?
Yeah, it prints 3 times because what is the length of names?
Okay. 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 Three
That is why
times.
it's
Okay.
printing 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now inside the loop we have BO. BO. So now we'll consider B as 0, O as 1. So now when I'm printing inside the loop, I'll say I'll access 1. So again, so here if I want to access by value, I have to convert into length. Otherwise, I can write if statement. So best thing is to write if statement. If uh, ch equal to o, print it. That's what I'll say. Expected. Okay, if statement expects. Hold on. Okay, so indentation after it 4 spaces. I need to comment this out also. Int object is not true. Okay. So when I'm doing this, it's considering as int object. So I'll convert it back to names and I'll comment this out. What is it? For in range names and for character in name, mm, character anything I need to comment. Okay. So let's take this list and so I don't have. Okay, I got what I was trying to do. I was using range function. Okay, so let me remove this range function. Now let me write. So we got O. So we are looping through all the values from the list, and then we are looping through each of these characters that list generated. Then we are doing a quick if condition. If character is equal to O, just print that. So this is how we'll get. This is how we can do this. So the purpose of showing these different scenarios is uh, how you can access this range. I mean, how you can use for loops in different ways. Because I have seen people use for loops in different ways, and if you are solving some problems, you will get confused. Okay, so for this problem we are using for loop in this way. For this problem we are using for loop in this way. So there are 3 things that I categorized: range function, list, and string. So in range function, anyhow, we have to mention that integer. So using range function, we can loop a list, we can loop a string also. But if you are directly using lists, uh, there is a way how you can access index, how you can access its value, how you can access both at a time. So these are different ways. Okay, so here see, you can say modify. So let's say I want to modify list items using range and indexing. So I'll say num is equal to num plus 5. Inside the for loop, I'm defining. So let what is my list? 10, 20, 30, 40. So I'm modifying my list, adding plus 5 to each of these elements. So it will become 15, 25, 35, 40. Okay. So now here. So again, even using the same number, you can loop through index of these numbers, uh, list of numbers and its value. Same thing. 0, 1, 2. As we have done with the list of strings, these are list of numbers. Okay, right? I hope this is clear. So overall, if I would like to summarize this, uh, we can see when loop type is basic counting, we can use the range function and we can define stop. These are most commonly used. And indexed list. So if you have indexed list, you can just use list, and we can use this combination and direct list loop. So for X in list, we have seen this also. We have seen both with enumerate function, like how you can use list of list. So nested list for matrices, we have seen this here. Here, this is the nested list, and how do we loop it in the strings? So yesterday you asked one question, right? So the difference between continue and pass, and see, this is tricky. So even I got confused regarding continue and pass. So the continue statement, what it does is it will go into the loop and it will find the number. Okay, so we are saying at number 2 index value, skip the number, then it will skip this number at number 2 and it will start from next number 3 4. But when it comes to pass, so pass statement is like, it's a placeholder where we are saying that uh, my logic is not yet ready, I'm trying to build my logic. Meanwhile, I will write this statement and just write pass. That means just do nothing. Just when you see it, do nothing. That means I will write my logic later on in here. So that is the meaning of pass actually. So in uh, demo, how this is how it will work. For I in range, if I is equal to skip this number, continue processing. So here you can see it will start from 0, and number 2 it will skip printing. So here I have printed it just to show you. Before continue I have printed it, after continue it will not print it. So before continue itself I printed it to show you that it will skip the number 2. But when it comes to pass statement, it will not skip it. So here you can see it's continued printing this. So that means we are yet to write some logic here which we have not decided. So that's the reason why we can write pass statement. So that the way of saying ignore this, ignore this. There will be
Okay.
no operation performed here. So that is the actual difference between continue and pass. Okay.
Okay. So while in pass we are keeping something on hold, right?
Yeah, something on hold. That means I have yet to decide my logic. So instead of just writing print, what I'm saying, just pass. That means I'll write my logic later on. You just ignore this, perform no operation.
Okay.
So that's what it means. So that's the
So
actual difference.
it will not give an error, right? We use
No, it
pass.
will not. Yeah, it will not give an error, and it will not, you know, uh, execute this statement also. There is no operation performed here. It will just keep on continuing. So you can see it will print 0 1, and it will print 2 3 4 also. Okay. So
Okay.
shall we continue with functions now, or we'll stop it?
Can do tomorrow.
What do you say?
Can do tomorrow.
We'll do tomorrow. Okay. Okay, then we'll continue with functions tomorrow. So I'll upload these notes. You keep on
Yeah.
practicing these. So these are the various
Can we
scenarios
have
I have covered.
Saturday Sunday off this week?
Okay, okay. Then we'll make it 5 days only. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow.
Maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.